Hello everyone and welcome to a Chinese small SUV that is great looking, it's practical, it's loaded with a ton of features, it's spacious, and all this at a very affordable price, which is this new Geely Coolray. So in today's video we're going to be finding out everything in detail about this Coolray. So this Coolray is based on Geely's new design language, which is called Geely Energy Burst, whatever that means, but in short it looks cool now. So let me start off from the front. So you get this massive blacked out glossy grille out here. Some of the bits out here are open and some of it are closed. The main grille is in the center bit out here with the Geely logo out here in the center with the chrome surround. And if you look at these orange inserts that are given around these grills also, and then there is an S badging, so that is the variant of this car. And there is also another orange stripe that goes at the bottom, and then this carbon fiber trim that is a plastic one, but it's made to look like carbon fiber, nonetheless looks pretty cool. And if you notice this area, it again makes like a Geely badging, so big one and then the small one out here. And even on top out here, the bonnet itself is pretty sportier. There are these fake vents that are given. Yeah, not sure about that, but anyways, yeah, that's also given out here. On the sides you get this again a very angular design of this bumper on the edge, where you have this sort of cut out here, and then there is this blacked out glossy plastic that is given, and then this silver color plastic around it, and inside houses the DRLs in the vertical fashion on both the sides. And then it's meant to look like a vent, but it's not a vent, it's just, as I said, it's a plastic trim that has been given, but in the glossy one. So the whole front end is pretty aggressively designed in that sense. There's also an extension of this bonnet underneath the grille, so the grille goes underneath, and then there's an extension of the bonnet. And then when you come to these lights, these are the full LED headlight cluster that you get on this Coolray. There are also a 3 dash lights on top that also acts as the turning signal, and the DRLs are given at the bottom. There are no fog lights or anything, but this whole LED system is called as the matrix LED technology. And there is also a camera that is mounted out here, so that is used for the various safety systems that is given on this Coolray. Now on the sides you get 18-inch blacked out glossy rims out here with the Geely badging in the center, red brake calipers given out here in the front and also in the back as well. When you come to these side mirrors, they have this carbon fiber design on them. It's a plastic mirror basically, and these are power foldable, they are power adjustable. They also have the blind spot warning inside them, but that blind spot warning sometimes is pretty temperamental. It works sometimes, it just doesn't work. I've tried from inside to switch it on and off, but sometimes it's a hit and a miss that way. There is also a turn signal that has been given, and one of the cameras from the 360-degree camera system. The 360-degree camera system are pretty amazing on this Coolray. And not just that, when you are turning around, so if you say left side, if you're going to be giving the signal, then it shows you that feed on the infotainment screen, and if you're below 30 kilometers per hour, that is. At the bottom you get this plastic skirtings, thick ones out here. There's a bit of a design out here too. Then there are these plastic skirtings given on the fender also, and also in the back, essentially to protect your body that way from minor scuffs and everything. And on top you would find the silver color roof rails that has been given, and a full black color roof on top, because this car has a panoramic sunroof. And you get a dual tone color combination. There are 5 color options that are available, which is red, this blue one, gray, white, and the newest one, which is a purple lavender one, which has like a dual tone color. And on top you get the black color theme, and you get this half chrome surround at the bottom of these windows. And then there is this design that is given in the back on this plastic. It's not a decal or anything, it's actually a design that is given on the plastic itself. So they took the efforts of making sure that it wasn't just a decal, unlike some manufacturers that just slap on some decals to make it look a little more prettier. Now when you come to these doors, these are keyless entry doors, and in the back you will find this pretty aggressive spoiler that has been given on this Coolray, which again has this carbon fiber design on it in the middle, and then this S color orange badging that has been given on the sides. There are lots of cooler flowing lines that you will see. So out here there's this very gentle line that fades away, and then another line that starts from here and then becomes a pretty hard line, shoulder line that goes till the back. On these arches also you would find more lines, so it looks pretty sportier in that sense. Now whatever energy burst that was going to happen, that has happened out here also in the back. So you see a lot more that is going on in here. So as I mentioned, this very sporty and aggressive again spoiler that has been given in this carbon fiber design. Out here you get full LED tail light cluster, and the turn signals and everything is completely LED. There is also an LED light bar that continues from one end to the other, and there's also the Geely badging in black and Coolray badging again in black. I really like that. There are no chrome bits out here except that exhaust. I'm going to come to that. And if you see, there are lots of lines going out here in the back too. So like this one, there's this line, then there is this line, there is an extension of this boot door also. There's a bit of a step here that is given. When you come to this bumper, you get this normal plastic bumper that is given on this thing, and it's actually makes sense because it's just easier to replace if something goes wrong or if you just scratch it up a little bit. And at the bottom you find this diffuser with this orange color stripes out here again, and this plastic one is again meant to look like a carbon fiber, but it's just for the aesthetics purposes, but it's not a real diffuser or anything. There's also a fog light centrally mounted that has been given out here. And when you come to the visibility, it's actually all right, a bit restricted, and especially if there are passengers in the rear seats, all three of them, then yeah, you would have very little room to see in the rear, but otherwise it's kind of decent. You can see still good amount of visibility from these rear view mirror. Now you get chrome quad exhaust tips on this Coolray, and if you look at it from the side, it sticks out a little bit. And the best part is that these are the functional exhaust tips that are given on either side. There are also reflector strips given on either side. Now when you come to the boot space, in order to open the boot door, there's a button given out here. You press that. There's also a wiper that has been given in the rear. Now when the rear seats are folded up, you can put 330 liters of luggage in the back, and to be honest, it feels a lot more bigger than that because the boot space itself is pretty even that way, and it's pretty broad and big, and it's also relatively deeper. Also there's a bit of a step in here. There are scuff plates so that you don't damage your plastic bumper, and there is also a carpet lining in the back. There are no tying points or anything as such in the back. There's just one boot light that has been given, and at the bottom of the boot floor there is a temporary spare wheel along with your jack and your triangle, reflector triangle and everything that has been given. And on the sides you would find normal plastic instead of the carpet lining that is given when the space on the side opens up. There's also a boot separator that is given again in carpet lining, and that boot separator can be easily removed, but here's the issue: it does not fit anywhere in the back, so you have to just keep it on, or you have to just take it and put it at your house. So I'm just gonna place it on the sides for a while. Now the rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40, and you can conveniently fold them down from here. So you just, there's a lever, you just pull it and fold these seats down. Now when the rear seats are folded down, I don't know in terms of liters, but it is pretty huge because there are not thicker arches in here, so you get a very big space in here. The only problem is that there is a bit of a step in here that just reduces the whole convenience of putting the luggage in and out, but nonetheless you can not slide it easily, but you can still put them inside and then stack them up, all your bags and everything, so it's easier. Plus there is this step also, so again you have to just take them out and put them in. It's going to be a bit of a hassle, that's the only thing. But the boot opening is pretty low that way, so it's easier to just put the luggage in and out, and it's also pretty broad and big. And in order to close the boot door, you press this button and it electronically folds the boot door on this Coolray. Now on the inside of this Coolray, you would guaranteed a pretty quality experience when you're interacting with the car, because the material quality out here is pretty good wherever you're going to be interacting with the car. So let me start off with the material quality. So the dashboard out here on the top is normal plastic, so it's a hard one, but on the sides it's soft touch with some patterns on it. Even out here on the door cards you get soft touch materials, and on the sides you get this sweet kind of material that has been given along with some patterns again. And we're going to be resting hands, that's got the red color leather with the white color stitching around these switches. Again, these switches also feel pretty premium when you kind of operate them. And even on the dashboard out here you get this suede kind of material, and then for some reason there is a battle written out here, and then this sort of claw, I'm assuming that is something to do with some sort of battle. And then there is this silver color plastic trim, glossy one, and a red color strip that continues from one end and goes to the other on the air conditioning vents. And there are also mood lights that are given out here on this Geely Coolray, and you can change the mood lights. I hope I remember from where, because it's a bit of a thing to go inside and sort of change. So you go into the settings, and then you go into the interior, and then you go into the ambient light, and that's where you will find all your different setups for your lights. So musical rhythm, promise, discoloration, breathing mode where it will automatically do some animation, ambient lights settings, speed sensitive, then the theme color where you can select 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10 different colors that you can select, or you can customize the button also. So that's your ambient light setting that you can change. There's a lot of animation that goes on your infotainment screen, I'm going to come to that too. And out here you get this leather covered material on the sides where you're going to be resting your knee, and on one side you would find this handle to grab onto, then this hand rest. Again, on one side it's red color, on the other side it's just black color. The seats are again dual color and dual material also, so they come with this sort of suede material and the leather one again in the red color. So yeah, wherever on your eye levels and where you're going to be interacting again with the steering wheel and everything, that's all leather covered. Again, this steering wheel somewhat resembles like an Audi with some half perforated design. So yeah, at the bottom there is just normal plastic. Even out here it's normal plastic. On this glove box it's normal plastic. Out here on the dashboard, as I said, it's normal plastic. So yeah, the material quality is a mix and match, but overall it's a pretty decent experience that you will find. Then you have these screens which are like a singular screen, but it's still divided between with a glossy plastic. So when you come to this driver's display, you get a 10.25 inch colorful display on this Coolray. So the appearance on this thing is pretty fixed that way, so you can just change a few things on this driver's display. And to do that you have to go inside the button that is given on the right side. So when you press that, you are led into the vehicle setting, EPS mode switch, volume, maintenance information. Then you press that. On the sides you go, there's a personalization. So when you personalize and go into another menu, you can change the dial on the left side, so you can have your RPM counter, or in a vertical fashion, in horizontal, or just have the information. Then your notifications, if there are any warnings or anything, it will show you that. So that's how you change the display on this thing, but otherwise it's pretty fixed that way. In that sense, it shows you in the middle a car and digital speed on the top, and then your information on the other side. And in order to change the trip details, there is a button given on the left side stock, so you press that, and then you can see your trip 1 information, your instantaneous fuel, then your trip 2 information, then your tire pressure, and then the status, which is the instantaneous fuel we come back to. So that's the information that you can change, and you can even change the color on this thing, so going from dark to bright if you want to go. And there is an animation going on the driver's display also, so if it's the dark theme, there are like stars falling sort of animation going on there. And in order to change that, so you go into the setup again, and then you go into the display. Then you have this option of custom night or day. So when you switch it to day, everything becomes white, and again when you switch to the day mode, there are birds flying on your screen, your driver's display. It's a small tiny ones on the edge, but yeah, again that's a neat touch. So so you can make out the difference between the night and the day mode. But yeah, I prefer the night one because it's not too bright, especially at night when you're driving, or in the day it's not in your eye. I usually prefer the blacker themes also. So that is your driver's display. Now when you come to this steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel, and it's like half perforated and it's flat bottom. There's a Geely badging in the middle, and there are also buttons given on either side, and the steering wheel is manually adjustable, which is your tilt and telescopic, so you can find the right setting. Now on the right side you would find the buttons to change all the information on the driver's display and your mode to change to different media options. And there is also one more Geely button that has been given, so when you press that you are directly led into, let's say if I am in some other menu option on my infotainment screen, and if I press that, directly led into the main screen on my infotainment system. And on the left side you would find the buttons for your communication, your voice controls, and the buttons for the adaptive cruise control and the speed limiter that has been given on this Coolray. And the adaptive cruise control is also different types, so you have one adaptive cruise control and there is an intelligent cruise control, which basically detects using this camera that I had mentioned about. So if you are taking a bend or a curve, it would automatically see the vehicles, oncoming traffic, and if you want to switch to that, you have to slide down a menu option from your infotainment screen, and then there is this option you go where it's the adaptive cruise control or the ICC, which is the intelligent cruise control, so you can switch on to that one. So that's how you change everything. But the steering itself feels pretty sporty, and as I said, it feels a little bit like an Audi where you have decent thumb support and everything. Now when you come to the air conditioning control, it is split between the buttons and the infotainment screen, but majority of it is controlled using the buttons. So there is an on and off button that has been given out here, and then to change the temperature, and there are more buttons for your mode. And even these buttons, they have this sort of pretty ergonomic design, so when you're pressing them, it feels very good to interact with them, and then the fresher and everything. And if you want to go from the infotainment screen, you can press this temperature button, or when you are pressing the on and off button, it shows you the screen and you can change the temperature. So you get dual zone air conditioning system on this Coolray. Then there is the fan adjustment speed in the center, and then the flow of air and all your different settings for it, the eco energy saving and everything on top. And you also get ventilated cooled seats on this Coolray. So the options are given on your screen, so you press that and then you can switch on. There's also graphic that goes on your infotainment screen too. So yeah, lots of things that you can do, but the basic options are all button operated, so which is good. So when you're going out and about, so it's easier to operate the air conditioning. Now when you come to this infotainment screen, you get a 12.3-inch colorful display that has been given on this Coolray, and it's easier and a bit tricky sometimes because some of the options are a little bit inside into the system. But let me start off from the screen options. So you get on the left side fixed widgets out here for your radio, Bluetooth, and music and phone, and on the right side you would find the media option, which changes whenever different media you are connected to, and you can swipe and you can go to the safety systems or the different setups that you want on the car that you can go to. And then this is an animated car, so you can flip it around. Yeah, you can do that, and then you can see your vehicle information, your vehicle control like your wiper, lamp, door locks. Then you go to the next option, which is your display, as I had shown you. Then your speed limiter, your safety settings, your lane keep assist, and your adaptive cruise control, speed limit alert and everything, and then your settings for your Bluetooth and everything. Or you can even go from the left side, there is a button given on the top, so you press that and you are led into that same menu options. Then your air conditioning controls, you press that and you are led into that. Then your menu option, where you will find some more options like your phone, multimedia, and as I said, there is a 360-degree camera system that you get, but that 360-degree cameras can also be converted into dash cam. So when you press that traveling dash cam, you get to see 4 different views on your screen, and you can select different views also, whichever you want, front, left, right, or all views that you want. You put a memory card inside and it will record all this footage for you, so it will actually act as a dash cam. So this is such a cool feature, a very thoughtful one, because you have a 360, why not utilize it to even function as a dash cam. Then there is a QD link. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment system using Bluetooth, there is USB, and there's the QD link, which is offered by Geely. So you don't get Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but Geely's own phone mirroring system. So you connect your phone using the USB port, and then you can connect to this QD link. Then there is the 360-degree panoramic view. Then there is the setup, which is the same one as the one given outside on the top. Then the APA, which is your automatic park assist that you get on this thing, then the photo if you have any USBs, and then the air conditioning controls, again they are also given inside, and then the home button, and there's also a swipe down option where you will see all your other options like your hill descent control, your traction control, start stop switch, touch screen, all of this, the sound, the wireless charger, everything that you want to switch on and off from there. Lots of options are given out here. Then you go down and then your adaptive cruise control, the lane keep assist, then the automatic parking options, the 360-degree camera, the hold auto button that has been given, so that's also given inside this system. So when you're in the drive mode, you can press that hold auto button. So when you're in the drive mode and you just press the brakes and you come to 0, the car will automatically hold the brakes for you. So that option is also given out here. There's no physical button, but instead that option is given inside the screen. So that's your infotainment screen. So just a quick update, the next day I've started the car and it's a little hot in here, so it's about 39 degrees. I've just done 2.4 kilometers, but the radio isn't working, the media itself. There's no sound or anything. I've tried increasing the volume. I started it again and again, but it's still not working. Let me show you again. Let me see Bluetooth music, and then I go back to radio again. It doesn't start. Now when you come to the charging, you get 2 standard USB ports that are given underneath this air conditioning controls. There's also one more wireless charger that is given out here, and there's also one 12-volt power outlet that has been given underneath, where there is like a small storage that is given. And for the rear passengers, you get one USB port that is given, which is a standard one. Now on this Coolray, you get a panoramic sunroof, which is pretty big and broad, and it opens quite big also, and the buttons for that are quite big that way, so it's pretty hard to not notice them. There's also an SOS button, which is an emergency button that has been given, and the sun visors, yeah, they don't extend that way, so they are pretty fixed. There's a bit of a space that is left out that way. Now when you come to the storage, you can put easily 1.5 liter water bottle in the door cards and some more storage on the sides. There is this wireless charger, and next to that more storage where you can store your phones and wallets. There is also this big storage out here at the bottom, so when your phone is charging or anything, you can leave it there, or your wallets and everything. Again, a glove box which is decently big. On the passenger side, again 1.5 liter worth of bottle. There is this center armrest in which you can put like your phones and wallets and everything. That's also leather covered, and you have these cup holders that are given, but they are adjustable cup holders. So there are these plastic options that are given, so you can customize your cup holder and like the size of it, however big it is, and then you can adjust those by putting them in the slots, or you can remove them completely and utilize the entire storage to put something in here. But yeah, you have to just make sure you don't lose these things when you remove them, put them in the glove box or anything. And in the rear door cards, again you can put 1.5 liter worth of bottle and some more storage on the sides, and there are 2 normal cup holders which are given in the center armrest. And on this Coolray, you would find 6-speaker music system that has been given. It sounds quite alright. There's also this angular start stop button that has been given instead of the round one. And in terms of the air conditioning functioning, so on a very hot day, if the car is parked like in the afternoon, then it will take about 5 to 10 minutes to cool the car. It takes a little while, that way is the air conditioning. But then you also have the ventilated seats, so you can just put on that also, and the car will eventually start cooling it. But the cooling effect is pretty good, I would say, once it starts cooling the car. There are also rear vents which are given, so that's again a plus point. Now when it comes to these seats, these are sporty seats which are in dual material quality and dual tone also. So you get leather and sort of suede material in the middle that is perforated, and you get the red and the black color options that you get on this Coolray. And these seats are pretty comfortable because the middle bit is made out of this suede kind of material, so it's pretty comfortable. The side support is ample, so it gives you enough when you are going around, and especially on a bend, so it supports you. And at the bottom also you get same, a little bit aggressive sometimes, it makes it a little more sportier than usual, but yeah, it's your preference that way. Then the headrests also have the dual material where you're going to be resting. That's again this suede kind of material, and there is also a bit of an extension, so that gives you an extra bit of thigh support, but it's not adjustable. It's a fixed one given on both the passenger and the driver side, while the driver side seat is 6-way electronically adjustable, whereas the passenger side seat is just manually adjustable. Now on this Coolray you get this gear shifter, which is a bit tiny, I would say, and it's a bit different than what I'm used to. So yeah, it takes a little while, but it's definitely tiny and it takes a little while. And this gear lever is also illuminated. The problem is that the car wouldn't directly go from the drive to reverse like you would find in some of the cars where you have this button and you can press and go into that one, but instead you have to keep going from drive, neutral, reverse, and then reverse, neutral, drive. So you do a lot of this all the time if you want to do like a 3-point turn and immediately want to go from reverse to drive and all of that. So yeah, that's the thing. And then there is the park button that has been given, and below that you would find the different drive modes button, like a tiny switch that has been given. So you get 4 different driving modes, and there is a bit of an animation that goes on there also. So you get eco mode, then your comfort mode, the adaptive mode, and then the sport mode. The sport is the most sportiest setting, and then again the animation is itself giving away that it's in the sport mode. So yeah, adaptive is where it would automatically adjust with according to your driving style and change the settings on the car for you. Now in the rear, the first thing to notice is that you sit quite low down into these rear seats, especially it's an SUV, so you would expect yourself to be sitting a little higher up, but yet in this one you sit quite low down, nearly like a sedan sort of sitting position that you get, and essentially that gives you a lot of head space in here because you're sitting quite low down, so you can easily fit someone above 6 feet. The knee room is also quite ample out here, nearly like half of my palm out here. You can slide your legs under the seat too during the longer journeys. There is enough of space for that. The seat also have a bit of a curvature, so that gives you that extra bit of knee room out here. When you come to the comfort of these seats, you get the same dual tone material out here and dual material also, so you get a mixture of leather and suede kind of material with the perforated seats, but that's only for the design purposes. It's not actually ventilated or the cooled seats. And the material in the middle is suede, so which is why you get decent amount of comfort during the longer journeys. There's a bit of under thigh support also. There's a bit of an extension onto these seats also, not the ones that were there in the front, not that much, but yes, there is some sort of extension. And then there are 2 proper seats that you see here, and in the middle you find this leather black color seat. And when you sit in the middle, there is a bit of a step in here. There's only a small step, not a huge one, and so that wouldn't hinder your overall space out here. So in the middle, the bottom bit is soft, but the backrest is a little harder, and that is because you have 2 cup holders that you get, the normal ones, in this handrest. The handrest is a little raised up, and then these cup holders are also a bit shallow, so yeah, you would end up putting your hand inside this cup holder, or you have to put them in the back a little bit, and you can fit like 2 people in here, and the middle passenger, if they are like supportive, they can sit in here or they can keep switching around. And in terms of the quality out here, you get the plastic material on the door cards. Out here on the side you get the suede material, but that's a bit harder now. Instead of the softer material, we're going to be resting hands, that's leather covered, red one with the white stitching. Again, that's also a bit harder than the front ones comparatively. At the bottom there is just normal plastic, and then you can put like 1.5 liter water bottle. There is this pocket storage in both the driver and the passenger's seat. It's deeper and it's a little narrower that way. There's more plastic material in this center console, where you will find 2 air conditioning vents that are given. You can adjust the flow of air, that's about it, or you can completely close it off, and then 1 USB port that is given. As I said, because I sit quite low down, you can see my shoulder line matching with these door cards, and the windows are also pretty broad that way, but they are pretty narrow in terms of its height, but they roll down completely, nearly like just this much is left, but that's all right. So you get that also. So overall, in terms of the seating position on this Coolray in the rear seats, you are sat quite reclined. I don't mind even though I'm sitting low down, because it gives me all the space and all the comfort, and during the longer journeys especially, this is a pretty decent space to hang out in on this Coolray. Now on this new Geely Coolray, you will find a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that produces 172 horsepower and 290 Newton meters of torque, and this engine is mated to a 7-speed wet dual clutch transmission. So when I come to the engine and the gearbox, the only thing is that it takes a little while to take off initially from 0. When you start accelerating, it takes a little second before it just starts picking up. There's a little bit of that hesitation from the transmission department, but overall in terms of the power, it's very good from this turbocharged engine. And the gear shifts, when it shifts up, it's a little clunky, whereas the downshifts are smooth. But yes, the transmission in that sense is pretty good. And in terms of the efficiency, so you will get anywhere between 16 to 17 kilometers per liter on a longer runs. I've managed that, whereas the claimed is 17.8, so it's pretty close. And in the city, you can still get anywhere between 13 to 13.5 kilometers per liter. You see that it took a little while to accelerate. So again, that's also pretty good, I would say, for day-to-day uses. So overall, yes, I'm pretty happy with the combination of this engine and the gearbox. The only thing is sometimes it might get a little stressed when you start accelerating on this thing. So yeah, just that makes slightly noisy affair on the inside, but I'm going to come to the noise later on. Now when you come to the suspensions, again you get pretty soft suspension setup on this thing. The roll is not that much, it's pretty decent, and sometimes when there is a big bump or something, it just sends all of that through the seats and into the bottoms and into your bag that way. So yeah, that's the thing, it just takes a little while to soak up those bumps. The damping can be a little bit improved in that sense, but on a day-to-day it's pretty comfortable. And when you come to the steering, again that's also quite light, the steering setup, and the turning radius is small, and the feedback from it is a little missing sometimes, is what I find, because I need to know what's going on. When I change it into, let's say, the sport mode, which I can do now, the feedback improves a little bit. It stiffens up the steering, and also the gear changes are a lot more rapid, and it utilizes the entire RPM, and now the whole setup becomes much more sportier. And now you hear, because it revs higher, which is why you can hear a lot of engine sound inside the cabin. So anyways, you're not going to be using the sporty mode all the time, so it's still pretty decent. So the steering, yes, can lag a little bit of feedback, but it's light, so it's going to be easier to maneuver inside the city and also in the parking spots and everywhere. So on a day-to-day basis, this steering setup is rather good. You get an electronic steering, by the way. And when you come to the brakes, you get 4-disc brakes on this Coolray, and the braking action is pretty good. There's slight bit of sponginess, that's the only thing, but the gripping action is pretty good, and the pedal setup is pretty progressive, so you don't have that sudden braking action going on, but it's pretty gradual in that sense. Now when you come to the noise and the vibrations, that's where, as I said, when the engine is stressed out, you get a little bit of that engine sound, as you can hear now. Let me put it in the comfort mode. Yeah, now it becomes a little quiet because I'm in the comfort, so the gear shifts are a little more balanced. Now there's also a bit of wind whooshing from these windows, and also a little bit of tire noise is what I hear, especially, as I said, when I'm going over some bumps. I can definitely hear some noise that gets into the cabin. Now when you come to the safety systems, this Coolray is pretty loaded up with a lot of safety systems. So you get 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger. There are also 2 curtain airbags given in the frame. There is also child isofix points in both the rear seats. There is also a 360-degree camera system that is pretty brilliant. You can select so many different views from it, front, back, side, or a 360 view. You can even go to the 2D view. So all of that you can do, and it even acts as a dash cam, as I said. So there is so much use of that 360-degree camera system, and it's pretty quality. I mean, I don't know why it's hard for other manufacturers to give you that quality 360-degree camera system, but on this it's pretty spot on. Then you have the parking assist, so you can the car would automatically park itself for you in a dedicated spot whenever it finds in a parking lot. And the other safety systems are your ABS, there is also the EBD, there's also the traction control system, there's blind spot warning that has been given, a bit temperamental as I said, but yes, there is still that option, it's still there. And also when you're turning at below 30 kilometers, then even the cameras come on whichever respective side you're turning, and signaling, that's when it will come on. So even that's also another feature that has been given. There's lane keep assist, there's also intelligent cruise control system. So all of that is given, and the only thing is that sometimes the car beeps and bongs a lot, and yeah, some warnings you have to just switch off, like you don't want some front and rear collision warnings and everything, because otherwise it just keeps beeping forever. So yeah, I've just made sure that I switched that off. So yeah, these are all the safety systems that you get on this Coolray. So again, that's also pretty loaded up. Now when you come to the pricing, this is where things get super interesting, because the top spec comes in at nearly 80,000 dirhams. This is approximate price, but it's around 80,000 dirhams, and for that price this car is just pretty good for what it offers, because you get a pretty good looking car out here. And the exteriors, yes, a bit more sporty, a bit more aggressive for some people, but it's pretty, you know, up to date with the current times, I would say. The interior space is lined up with some quality materials. It's super spacious. The rear seats are pretty good for passengers, so 4 people can easily ferry in here in comfort. And then there are the technology that you get out here, a little bit of tweaks here and there in terms of this gear shifter, yeah, that would make life easier, and a little bit of padding for the sound deadening, that would also improve the drive quality in here. But for 80,000 dirhams, this is still a pretty good deal that you get. So you should definitely consider this car when you are shortlisting the small SUV. I don't know about the later maintenance and stuff, but in order to buy this car, this is pretty much worth it, I would say. So make sure you test drive this car out and see it for yourself for what it offers at that price. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and drive safe.